This is just a quick explainer to explain what the D-Lens project, our new website, is all about. We strongly believe that there are massive opportunities to create AI web apps, things that you can do now that you couldn't really do before. So this is our beginning of our website associated with doing that, and our whole goal here is to add a whole bunch of different web apps that will be free to use, at least to start with, to some degree. The first one is an app that helps you make investments in the stock market if that's something you're interested in doing. This website is not finished, so don't take everything on the website literally at this point. I will be editing some of the text on here to make it accurate, but it'll just give you a sense of what's going on and what's this about. You can look at that. There's a page we've developed already. These other pages are coming. They're not developed yet, but just to give you a sense of what that looks like. So the first web app is a tool to help you find companies to invest in, and there's two concepts here. One is the Disruptor Hunt and the other is the Spotlight. The idea is use this one and it will go off and find a whole bunch of companies that meet a very, very specific criteria, and I'll show you some examples of that in a second. And then once you look through that list of companies, you can choose to get a more detailed report on any one of them or on another company entirely that you might be interested in, and these buttons would take you there. What I've got here is, and what I'm sending you is some examples of what these reports look like. So you should receive an email something like this. I'll open some of these so you can get a sense of the reports. So the first one we'll open is the Disruptor Hunt. We'll do this one first, which is a list of companies. So let's open that. So this is what it looks like. So this is listing companies ranked by the opportunity associated with DUU, which means the degree to which the technology that they are building will disrupt previous markets. So their potential for growth is much higher than you'd normally expect, runaway growth. Here's the current stock price, CSP, the CSP $17. What it's saying is, based on the potential for disrupting an existing market, the upside potential is around 210%, so 3.1 times the current stock price. And what's the likelihood that that will happen? 70%. Now that's based on the AI doing an analysis of what it thinks. So this isn't necessarily my opinion, although my opinion tends to be very much in line with this, because the algorithm I built with GPT is based on analyzing things in a certain way, and I've been using this myself to get results in terms of investments, and I'll show you the results I've been getting by using this methodology so far, and I've included them in the email here. And this is my own E-Trade account, and you can see it tracks ETFs, the S&P 500, NASDAQ and Dow, and you can see that's all these colored ones, and that's the growth so far this year. And this is my account. I'm currently at 80% growth for the year using this methodology to pick stocks to invest in. So that's the result I'm getting. Now, this is not advice on what you should buy. This is just a tool you can use to get a sense of how AI perceives those companies in terms of their potential for growth based on the algorithms I put together. So it may or may not be right. AI may or may not be hallucinating. So you need to do your own due diligence and decide what you want to invest in. I'm certainly not telling you what to do, but this will give you some suggestions to go look at. It's certainly done all right for me so far. So what you've got here is two Hunt reports, which is this one, and you've got two Spotlight reports as examples. So I'll show you that now. So let's go into this one, which is Tesla. So we'll see, what does GPT, based on the criteria, think about Tesla as a potential to be a disruptive winner. So we'll open that one. The start of this is it's extracting this chart. This is a little widget in the HTML file. So you can play with this. You can change the date range to see what has it done in the last month, and what has it done in the last year, and so on. And then it will give you a summary. It will talk about why it sees it as having massive disruptive potential, and it will give it a DUU score. And this is pivotal. So it's saying its potential for growth over where it currently is now, over the current stock price, the size of the company as it is now for growth, is that it will get to this stock price. The current stock price, the current CSP, current stock price, is 438 at the time of generating this report. So this may or may not be true now. And it thinks that it will grow in a 6-year period, this is a 6-year report, by 220%. So that's what it's saying. Massive opportunity to invest in Tesla right now, even though it has already grown quite a bit. And there's a lot more detail on here that you can read and get an analysis. The point of this is, if you were to try and go off and find all this information, who are the competitors, how do they compare, the probability of success, things to think about in the future, if you were to try and get all of these metrics, I mean, you'd spend days and days trying to figure all this out, looking at different reports. And this puts it into one quick report. So the whole idea is, once we built the web app and you use the website, you'll be able to decide, click on it and say, I want to report on Tesla and I want to know what their return horizon would be. So how much is it likely to grow in a 6-year period? And this gives you the prediction as to what it will do. This is the past, this one, obviously. Now, as samples in this report, you've got 2 there. I've given you a negative one for Ford, which doesn't have a lot of potential upside, and it'll explain why, and a positive one. And I've given you 2 Hunt reports, and you specify the stock price that you want reports on companies. So this is for up to $450 stock price, and this one's for $21 stock price. So very different reports. So you can look at those as you are interested in those price ranges. Now, there's a couple of other files here. One is a glossary of terms, and one is an explanation as to, well, what is this actually calculating, a description of the nature of the calculation. Let's open that one and take a look at it. So this is what this is. Just explain it. It's just a short explainer so you can understand what is this all about. You can think about what is it actually looking for, how is it explaining why this is an opportunity. That's that one. And you can also look at this one, which is a glossary of terms. So, for example, in the report, what does DUU stand for? So you open that one and that'll explain that to you. So you just open it, it'll open in your browser, and it gives you a definition. What does all this mean? Disruptive upside underpriced, how strong the disruption is scored on a 1 to 10 basis, 10 high, 10 being very, very good, and so on. CSP, today's current share price. One of the things to consider is, what's the constraint on a company growing? Is it incremental leaps in engineering, or does it require some kind of scientific breakthrough? Those are scored with these 2 metrics, for example, and so on with all the other terms. So you've got explanations as to what all the terms mean, and you've got an explanation as to, well, what is this all about? What is it actually doing? So bottom line is, take a look at this. I'd love some feedback, what you think of this report, what you think of what I've been able to do with it, and is there something you'd like to see, or is there something you don't understand? So yeah, we're spending a lot of time building this functionality right now. I think it's a winner, because why did I build this one first? Well, this is what I've been using AI for, and it's producing good results. For me, I don't see any reason why I shouldn't share this with other people so they can also benefit from AI. Ultimately, I'm giving it away free at the moment, especially in return for giving me some feedback on it to help me develop it. In the longer term, I'll probably continue to provide a free version and a paid version, which will have more advanced detail in it. But I'm yet to figure that out. My main goal is just to get people using it, or to see if people will use it and to see if they find it valuable or not. And that's the feedback I'm looking for above everything else. So that's it in a nutshell. Expect this to continue. I'll be developing this continuously. I'm going to guess the actual functionality on the website, we're probably making this fully functional. I would say we're probably about a month out, something in that region. It might take a bit longer. We might be able to do it a bit quicker. I'm not really sure at this point. I've got separate resources focused on this. I'm investing in building these products. So the investment tool, remember, is just the first one. We have a whole bunch of ideas as to other ones to build that can leverage AI. Probably another 10 ideas I've got in a row. But if you come up with something you think would be awesome, I'd love to hear suggestions as well.